Hi everybody, it's Reva with Quality Sewing and Vacuum, and I thought I would share with you one of my favorite sewing tools. And it's something that I use every time that I'm working on a project, and that is a rotary cutting mat and rulers and of course rotary cutters. But these are from Quilters Select, and I actually got rid of all of my other rulers and I only have Quilters Select, and I want to tell you why. Now the mats, we're going to start with the mats. The mats themselves come in multiple sizes, even smaller than this. If you want something smaller, like right beside your sewing machine, this is what I keep right beside my machine. But they come small and they come larger, so it's really nice and convenient. But what's really cool is if you notice, this one's dark gray and this one's light gray. Oh, but they're not. They're all double-sided, so you get both colors. Now, why would you want both colors? You want both colors because depending on the fabric you're working on, it might be a light colored fabric and it's hard to see the difference between the gray and the gray you're working with or whatever. You can actually rotate your mat so you can see what the colors are. Now, the other thing that's really great about all Quilters Select products is that they were designed by Alex Anderson. And she's, if you haven't heard of her, I implore you to go on YouTube and check her out. She is a famous quilter and she happens to be left-handed, as am I. And she has created all of her products to be both right-handed and left-handed. So let's see if we can get in on the mat really kind of closer here. And let me hold it up. If you can notice down here, the light colored square, which is above the dark one, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes up to 11. Then on this side, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to 11 on this one. So it reads both left to right and right to left. So no matter which direction that you are trying to cut, you have the numbers and you don't have to do the backward math. And that's really awesome. Now, I may be left-handed, but I cut both left and right-handed. So I appreciate those numbers because I use both sets because I might cut with my right hand and I might cut with my left hand. So now let's talk about the markings. It is marked every inch, as you can clearly see right there, but then it has tick marks every 1/8 of an inch. And I suppose I should hold that up a little bit so you can see, but there's a tick for every 1/8 of an inch, and you can see the 1/4 inch is a little bit longer, the half is even longer, and so it gives that gradation in size. Then you also have your markings for 60 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and I think there's another degree, but I don't know. It's in there somewhere. Anyhow, but those are on there if you want to use those. Now, the really exciting thing about this mat, not only is it a great mat, it has a foamy core to it. It's thick and it has a foamy core to it. So the blades just glide on it really nice and you get a clean cut. If you've ever cut with a rotary cutting mat that has kind of a bumpy surface to it, you always have those strings left behind because the rotary cutter can't get into there. And this just cuts really beautifully. But in companion with the rulers, it is absolutely a phenomenal system, and I want to show you why. So if we take a look at this mat right here, we have our our inch marks, and on this ruler we have our inch marks as well. And as you can see, or hopefully you can see, if I can do it upside down and backwards, the lines actually match. I can't seem to get it. Boy, this is harder than you think. This is like rubbing your head and patting your stomach all inside of a mirror. Okay, so you have all the lines actually match up perfectly with the ruler and the mat. Now, why is that important? That's really important because usually when you're trimming or cutting something, you either use the mat or you use the ruler because the lines don't match up. And sometimes on mats and rulers, the lines are really chubby or they're really thin and you don't know which line is supposed to go to which spot, and it's really difficult to work with. These are nice and thin. They're thin lines, they're easy to see, but also since they line up together perfectly, then you're able to use them as a cooperative effort, right? They work together, which is really cool. Okay, so now let's talk about something else about the rulers. You notice that the rulers are yellow, and they are yellow for a reason because, let's see if we can get a shot on here, because you can see with the yellow color on the ruler, you can see it on light colored items and you can see it on dark colored items. So that way you can see the marks on the ruler no matter what color fabric you're working with. The lines are black, but even if you're working with black fabric, you can still see the black lines because you have the yellow cast underneath. Now the rulers are also kind of a frosty color. They're not crystal clear, and that's because the back side has a grippy surface to it, which is really awesome, and I want to show you how that works. The grippy surface helps keep the fabric from slipping out from under you when you're working with it. So I have just a piece of fabric here, and we're going to do some cutting. I've got selvage, and here's the folds, so it's just a normal off-the-bolt piece of fabric. Now, the rotary cutter, we're going to kind of go back and forth a little bit because, again, everything works so well together in a grouping. The rotary cutter is different than other rotary cutters. It's heavy. It's heavy and it's weighted. Do you remember your mom's iron and how heavy that thing was? And it was like, oh, I wish I had a lighter iron. Then you went and got the one from the drugstore that was really light, and you realized that you had to push harder and work harder because it was so lightweight, it didn't do the work for you. Well, this is weighted, so that way it helps you to cut and you don't have to push, which is really, really kind of nice. And it also has a protector on the blade, so you don't have to worry about getting cut with the cutter. And then it also, so the safety's on all the time. And how it works, it's really, really easy. When you want to cut, there's a button right on the front of this. All you do is push it down, and then you set your cutter down. And can you see now? See how the blade is extended? So now, or actually what happened is the guard came up, and now you can cut, and when you're done, just turn it over and gently tap it, and then the guard is back on. So you push the button, set it down, release the button, and you can cut. Okay? Really, really easy. You don't have to, so many people I see hit it. You don't have to hit anything. Heaven's sakes, I don't want to dull my blade because I just bang it on the table. So it's just gentle. Just push it down, cut. When you're done, rotate it. Okay, really, really simple. And these are left and right-handed as well. So you can use it with your left or your right-handed hand. It does not matter. Just want to make sure that the blade is facing the ruler. Okay, easy peasy. All right, now before I cut, I will mention real quick that there is a separate size of the cutter. Your 45 is your regular everyday rotary cutter. They also have a 60 millimeter, and the 60 millimeter is great for thick fabrics, things like denim, polar fleece, multiple layers of quilting cotton, and things like that. It's going to do your straight lines. If you're doing garment sewing, this will not go around your curves very well. Your 45 is going to be a better bet for that, but they're both awesome. And it's amazing if you're cutting multiple layers of fabric or thick fabrics, it's amazing how nice the 60-degree cutter is to use. Okay, so that's when you're at the store, if you see that and you wonder what on earth those are all about, that's what they're about. Okay, so now I just have my fabric right here, and I'm going to grab my ruler, and I just want to go over a scenario with you. So I'm just lining my inch measurement line parallel with the fold of the fabric, because I just want to get a clean cut here. So I'm going to just push the button, and I'm going to set that down. Now it's ready to go, and I'm not holding the button anymore, but I'm going to start to cut. Now, the beautiful thing is I don't have to push real hard, and it doesn't scooch out at the end. I guess I was cutting not hard enough, there you go. But it doesn't squitch out. Have you ever cut and then when you get here, it all goes whoop, and you end up having to true it up again? So you don't have to do that with that because of these rulers. You still, of course, want to be cautious. You don't want to be carefree. You still want to be aware of how you're cutting, so that way you can make sure that you're getting a nice clean cut and it's straight and you don't place your ruler wrong. Okay, I'm going to go to a different size ruler because it's easier to handle, and I am going to go and choose, this is a 6.5 inch square, which is kind of nice if you're ending up with 6 inch finished blocks. a 6.5-inch ruler is really awesome because this will be your size before you get it all trimmed off. But I actually have a 5-inch strip here that I had cut. So I'm going to go down to my 5 inches and I'm just going to make a 5-inch square. But before I do that, I want to show you something. I'm going to get it lined up. And look, I can move this around and the fabric stays placed exactly how I had it. So I don't have to worry if I need to adjust something, because the fabric is right there. And if you set that down, look, the fabric goes with you. I don't know, that's kind of a little harder probably for you to see. Let me show you on the light colored background. That might be a little bit easier, but the fabric grips to the back side of that ruler so it stays nice and stable. So when you're cutting your shapes and you're cutting your different units, it will hold on to it and not slip out of place. So now, talking about different rulers, I love my 6x24. I use this one all the time. I'm sure everybody has one of those. But did you know that when you fold your fabric, you have it off the bolt and you fold that in half, well, it becomes 11 inches, right? So having a ruler that is shorter, this is a 18-inch ruler. This is really handy because then you can work with a smaller amount of space. And then there's rulers for every size. This is a great one too. This is a 12x6. Awesome, awesome one. I think I have every size of the Quilters Select ruler and I use them all. Some I use more often than others. But then of course you have a variety of squares, even down to little ones. So if you're truing up, this is a 2.5-inch square. So if you're truing up small little units to put into a quilt, you can have them exactly at 2.5 inches. And the nice thing is, since they rotate and grip onto the fabric, then you can true up your edges really easy. Just by rotating your ruler, you can trim and true up your fabric very, very easily. A couple more rulers that I wanted to show you that they have that are newer to the line is the 3-in-1 half square combo. This is a ruler that will let you true up your blocks. And then also it will get the glare off there. It trues up your blocks and it lets you get your half square triangles just really squared up beautifully. So this is an awesome ruler. Then we also have the 60-degree angle ruler, and this is perfect if you want to do a Lemoyne star or any of those wonderful quilts that we have now that are so popular, using the triangle shape to either create hexes or just triangles themselves. So this is a great one. And then another thing that you may not know exists is this one right here. And there's more than just one style, but I just grabbed the 2x8 to show you today. And this is a free motion or a ruler work ruler for when you're doing your quilting, not the cutting and not the piecing, but the actual quilting. And it's thicker, it's a 1/4 inch thickness here, and it has little finger holes so you can simply place it on your fabric and you have a good grip in the ruler without, see the holes right there? Without having to get your fingers near your needle when you're working. So they have a wide variety of products and they all are designed to work seamlessly together and to cooperate with each other to give you a better cutting and sewing experience. So I encourage you to give them a try.